Coming up this week, your game of 2013, new GTA 5 artwork, FIFA 14 revealed, and Criterion move away from racing. Hello and welcome to our weekly news digestive. I'm James from CVG, and joining me as always this week is Leon Hurley, editor of official PlayStation Magazine.co.uk, and Dan Dawkins, co-host of the League of Next Gentlemen and GTA 5 O'Clock, and now appearing in this show. Anything else you want to get involved in, Dan?
Just been rolled super thin.
Hello! Right, before we get started, I need to carry on with Biscuit Gate from last week. This, Leon, take the tiny biscuit, is what we call a biscuit.
Biscuit.
Dan, this is one of our cookies. So
Cookie.
I know, huh? Biscuit. Anything else to add, guys? I know you've got a massive cookie there, Dan.
Yeah, I think next week we're going to do crisps and chips.
No, next week, Jaffa Cakes. Monday saw the result of a reader poll on CVG, which has rated Tomb Raider the best game of 2013. Now, Leon, you weren't too happy about this before we started talking about it, or maybe it was someone else.
Yeah, someone else.
So you are happy about it?
No, I
lie on.
Yes.
My evil twin. No, I think not as many people have played or finished Bioshock as they have Tomb Raider. Not everyone buys a game the second it comes out.
So you're saying Bioshocks should
no,
be
I'm saying it probably reflects more timing than anything else. But I think they're both excellent games.
Dan, deserving to be up there, if maybe not at the top, but around
For Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Well, bear in mind my expert verdict boils down to, I've not played it. So
Well, you're totally entitled to have an opinion then.
So I'm going to say that's rubbish. I mean, all I do know is I have played Bioshock, which I loved,
Yeah,
despite
you were
the
saying last
internet
week.
telling me I'm supposed to hate it. And for me, that's my favourite game of the year. But in context, I've played probably 3 games this year.
There hasn't been a lot around, has there, really, to be
Not
right
really.
up there on the I'm going to vote for this as best game of the year so far.
I mean, Tomb Raider's been one of my favourite games of the year. I thought it was excellent, so I had no problem with it being at number 1.
Okay, I've got another. Any other suggestions you would put in there? Obviously, Dan, you've only played 2 games, so
I'd not nominate Crisis 3, even though it's absolutely fine.
Are we
you'd
talking-
not nominate Crisis 3.
Yeah, I'd say no.
You'd say no.
No.
That was at number 4, with an average user score of 6.1, which isn't that high.
Well, that is terrible.
It's not brilliant, is it?
I mean, that's about what I think it's about a 7.
I mean, in
So,
context, they only rated Tomb Raider 8.6.
So it got in at number
Right.
4 with an average rating 6.
Yeah.
This is like when they do the singles and they go, it's number 1. It only sold like 14 copies.
Yeah, well, it depends on what's out and around at the time, doesn't it? Dan, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, number 3.
Oh my god! I played that!
Wow, you didn't want to nominate that?
That's better than Tomb Raider that I haven't played.
Well, that's fine. Well,
Metal Gear Rising's really good.
that
Really,
only got a 6.1.
I didn't. Yeah, I
Well,
think that's great.
that's rubbish. You're wrong.
You're wrong. Everyone is wrong. What? It's not a well. Okay. Any other games you'd like? I mean, I've only got the top sort of 15 here that you'd think. Dead Space 3 is in there. No, you can't have a look. You're going to ruin the game.
I like my game better. Well,
God of War Ascension,
Where did that come in?
number 5.
Okay, Dead Space 3.
Dead Space 3 is number 8 with 5.6 average user score. 5.6.
It wasn't that bad.
Well, I think it's just because, you know, some people have gone there and they don't want it to be number 1, so they're instantly going to give it like a really low score because it's an average. So it's like Metacritic basically. You just let everyone vote on the same thing, and you're going to get some weird scores happening. The number 15 was Army of 2: The Devil's Cartel, getting an average of 4.1.
Yeah.
I'm more shocked there's been 15 games this year.
So all in all, it's near enough right, but also some wild emission.
Mostly wrong.
But mostly wrong. Brilliant. Tuesday brought us the news that Criterion are developing a new IP which is not going to be a racing game. However, Dan, they are still making Need for Speed. So that's good, right?
Hang on.
I know,
What?
it's very confusing.
Well, unless the Need for Speed has changed.
Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe
So,
it's...
so they're making something that isn't a
I
racing
mean, those
game and
on-foot
Need for
sections
Speed.
in that Need for Speed
Right.
was... they were good.
Okay, I get it. I understand what's happening.
I think what's happening is they've now got 2 development teams. So one of them is off doing Need for Speed, and the other one is concentrating on their new idea of whatever that is going to be. Not Black 2, before you all start in the comments. They've said that ship has sailed, or they're not going to do it anyway.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see what they do because they are, a talented team. Black was good, and it showed they had you know, they had the chops in other genres. So, yeah, I'm really fascinated to see what they eventually produce.
Any predictions, Dan, on anything you want it to be? What would you like Criterion to make?
I'll cut this up in several ways. One is to predict based on past evidence, and there's not an awful lot. We've already ruled out Black. 2 other games they did that people have forgotten. One would be Trick Style on the Dreamcast.
I saw someone saying they'd like them to do another Trick Style.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want them to do that, but they did do that. And then a similar-ish game was Airblade, which was kind of like a hover airboarding game.
Yeah.
That came out at the start of PS2's life. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Didn't that have a plastic board? Didn't that?
No,
wasn't that one of the ones
which is
that
one
had-
was had iToy that you played as iToy that you had to sort of do that?
I don't know if it was iToy compatible. It was essentially like a sort of Tony Hawk style game with
Yeah.
really good renderware graphics, Criterion renderware graphics, and like almost like a precursor to when Burnout made it big for them.
Yeah.
But that was decent. But I'd be astonished if that's what they're coming back with. They're interested in shooters.
I think they are. I remember ages ago speaking to Alex Ward about Resistance 2, I think, of all things, and you know, he seemed to be, you know, shooters seemed to be a thing he was very sort of passionate about. I think he objected to us not giving it a high enough score in the magazine, weirdly enough, and that I was supposed to be interviewing about Burnout, Paradise? No. One of the Burnouts anyway, and we spent about 10 minutes, I wouldn't say arguing about Resistance, I'd say being shouted at about Resistance maybe. But I think, yeah, shooters potentially. I guess, you know, they're a big name company, they want to make a big name game, so I doubt they're going to make anything, you know, less than sort of a AAA maybe.
Though I do say shooter and thinking out loud, just in terms of what EA would want them to do. If you look at the fact that EA have got
You do have a lot of
Crisis,
True.
Battlefield, they've got a Respawn game to come out.
Yeah.
They put Medal of Honor on the sideline. It seems unusual that EA would want another shooter in their portfolio.
So what are the other holes to fill? What are the sort of the buckets that they've got to sort of put there?
Third-person action adventure.
Oh, that would be really big. Here's an interesting thing, right? They say not in the racing genre. What if it's cars doing a different thing? And I don't mean like
Just driving.
like Disney's Pixar's Cars where they play makeup and
Just
dolly dresses and
what,
stuff.
what else do cars do?
No, but what I mean is almost like a lifestyle experience car game where you're on like a huge, beautiful open world, and it's more like about cruising and
Nah.
other.
No, it seems weird to say they're
Other
not
things.
they're not doing
No,
driving
mate.
and
Other
then making.
things, what's that?
Yeah,
It's not racing though, is it? It's
but it's still cars. If you say you're not
lifestyle
doing
driving.
racing and then
lifestyle driving, Leon.
Yeah, but if you say you're not doing racing and then you produce a game with cars in, people
I
are going to be
know.
going like, "Whoa!"
How are you selling
I know.
that as well, Dan? How are you marketing your lifestyle driving game?
I'm not making it. I'm not even saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. Well, if they're not making a shooter, the only other thing they can do is, or not cars. There's only other one on one of the genre, right? Which is action adventure,
We've also you got to think about
third-person platformer.
we got to think as well about sort
Puzzle
of
game.
what next gen is kind of bringing with all the kind of, you know, you got Bungie talking about their social kind of experience type thing with Destiny. They could be working on something that, you know, involves technology we haven't really sort of thought about, or, you know, ideas we haven't really thought about.
or casual driving.
Lifestyle driving.
Oh, sorry.
Lifestyle
Sorry, yeah.
driving.
Is that what you just drive out of the garage, show it off, and then park it again?
It's just that.
Just that.
It's just showing things off.
You just unlock all the DLC of the extra garages.
I'll quickly add, last year at E3, I was demoed, what was last year's game, Need for Speed?
There was a
Something.
Need for Speed.
Need
yeah.
for Speed. And I asked then, somewhat cheekily, I'd said, are you doomed to be making driving games for all time? And they were quite prickly, obviously, in their response and said, no, we haven't always done driving games, we may not necessarily always do driving games in the future. You know, almost like watch this space. And the space is unveiled.
So in a way, you're like a pioneer.
Sort of.
So maybe you're the cause
Lifestyle
of it.
driving.
Lifestyle
Yeah,
driving.
me,
You're the cause of
me.
it. They got back to the studio and went, this guy at this show, you never guess what he said to me.
Yeah. You
Hey.
wanted Burnout, I've ruined it for you.
Hey, and I asked for
With my lifestyle driving sim.
a world exclusive last week. Lo and behold.
Yeah, I know, I've pretended there's another one. Great.
Wednesday saw EA reveal FIFA 14, but before that, some GTA 5 artwork came out this week as well. Dan, obviously it was just 2 bits of artwork that we'd seen before, not much to get excited about. But GTA 5 o'clock is happening every Wednesday at 5, and soon there will be a very special show that you should subscribe to. We can't say anything more than that really, but there we
Not a lot
go.
of help, really, is it?
No,
But there'll be a thing you need to get involved in.
but you just need to hit the button and then you'll be instantly involved in it.
It really is worthwhile.
Leon,
Oh, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, sorry.
were you excited about the artwork? Because we've covered it extensively.
Yeah, well, I hadn't seen the jet ski one, was it? Michael on a jet ski.
It was on the box art. Keep up.
Was it on the box art?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen, oh no, sorry, tell you, I hadn't seen it properly. I'd seen
Right.
a picture of it from one of the in-store posters.
Yeah.
So it's the first time I've seen it in HD. And also that one and the other one both had the same name, didn't they?
Yeah. It was
implying that the
cash and carry.
Cash and carry,
by
yeah.
land.
So
by
I
sea.
wonder if that is, when you play the mission, whether that's one of the points at which you get to choose between the characters. And, so you escape on your vehicle of choice.
Yeah. Well, so for all this level of insight from Dan, not Leon, and more, subscribe to our GTA 5
That turns up in GTA 5 o'clock.
It's already been. It's already happened last month.
Oh, right.
It's already fine. But moving on to FIFA, something that we used to play loads in the office, Dan. Not so much anymore because you're over the other side of the office.
I know, I'm out of FIFA Club.
But FIFA 14, couple of minor gameplay tweaks, but something that's obviously going to improve the overall experience. You think? You agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as genned up as perhaps you are because you've seen it, haven't you? But
I did go and see it.
to me, it looked like a raft of sensible and welcome iterative changes as opposed to a mind-blowing revolution. I think they were addressing the career mode, which makes perfect sense. I like the new tiles and panes you press to advance the games.
Yeah.
I know the scouting network has become more realistic in certainly their eyes, but
Yeah, I think you can search for, you don't search for numbers anymore, you search for traits and attributes. So you go, I want a skillful winger, rather than, I want someone who's 78.
But as a colleague pointed out, in fact,
A bit old.
in real life, they do search by incredibly tight parameters because they use Optastats and will
Yeah.
search for, like, say, a midfielder who's got an 80% final third passing ratio, 75% crossing ratio. So they do actually search by a similar tight set of metrics. So in a way, if anything, you could argue that FIFA's moving further away from reality, sort of.
Sort of. I should point out that the footage you're seeing now is from FIFA 13, before we get any people in the comments saying, hey, this looks just the same as last year, which aesthetically it might, but there are a lot of changes in there that you will want to play. Like, for instance, being able to sprint with the ball and control it. So they've made it more like a car, they were saying. So you've got like accelerate, so sprint on the right trigger, and then skill moves and close control on the other trigger. So you can decide when to give and go and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Leon doesn't know anything about football, which is why he's been quite quiet. But I thought it'd be fun. Leon, if West Bromwich Albion were playing Norwich, who you think would win?
Who's got the taller players?
Brilliant. Thursday saw Metal Gear Solid: The Legacy Collection get rated. Dan, we're assuming this may be a collection of all the previous Metal Gears in one, in the build-up to Metal Gear Solid 5. Is that rumour likely?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, they have released the HD collection with a certain amount of games. Kojima tweeted an image which had the words Metal Gear Solid, and inside it were all the Snakes to date.
Yeah.
I think if you go through ticking them off, you've got, you know, Snake from Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear 3, Metal Gear 4, and Peace Walker Snake. So you've got like all the core versions of Snake from all the key bits of story canon, and it's a nice bundle wrap up for what would be a prelude to MGS5.
And it would come in a lovely box as well, you'd guess.
Yeah, well, I'm almost wondering, and this is just talking out loud, is, you know, they've sort of delivered it in that format once. They could make it a box product, but maybe they could also say we're sticking them all up as a digital thing, as almost as a test for what probably are their plans for MGS5. Because I think, you know, we talk about MGS5, and part one of that is Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, which is definitely the prologue, and they haven't talked, and it seemed conspicuous how much they're not talking about how it'll be delivered. I wonder if that's because it's going to be digital with DLC add-ons. I wonder if even, you know, MGS5, the Phantom Pain section, will effectively be a posh bit of DLC.
Yeah.
Because he's talked about episodic stuff and been quite vocal about how that's, he thinks, is like the future or the best way of trying things out and seeing what people want.
Yeah. So I think for that reason, it could be a more interesting product for a different reason than we think.
Excellent. Thursday also saw Capcom axe internal projects, which is not as bad as it sounds, right?
Sounds pretty bad.
It does sound pretty bad.
Profit forecast has been cut from, what's it, like sort of 6,000 yen to like 3,000 yen, a million yen or something.
Yeah, so that is quite bad.
They've halved their profit kind of predictions basically. Although I wasn't clear what the reasons were. They just sort of had made less money.
Well, they've sold half the amount of games they projected to.
Well, that makes
so
sense.
for things like let's say DMC, which was they hoped would sell 2 million, has sold 1.1 million.
Right.
Resi sold, I think it was in the region of 4 to 5 million, and projected 7 to 8 million. So they're almost every time missing out by 50%. Hence the overall 50% drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it looks like their profits for this year, which ends April 2014, have gone up. Like their projections, I've got it written down because I wasn't going to remember it. Their targeted sales of 684 million for this financial year that ends next year. So I guess they're riding on next gen there, which could mean blockbuster Capcom franchises on its way.
Aren't they looking at probably Monster Hunters? Because that's their mega cash cow in Japan.
Yeah.
And whether it's Monster Hunter on sort of Wii U established platforms, or whether it's going to be we're doing Monster Hunter 4 AN next gen console. Resi is, well, the thing I thought was interesting, they talked about the fact that they blamed weak third-party collaborations. They were saying that we've worked with partners outside Capcom and the quality bar's dipped, which I thought was exceptionally harsh on someone like the Heavenly Sword devs, Ninja Theory.
Yeah.
Well, again, because DMC's really good.
Yeah, they made a really good, I think as good a DMC game as you're probably going to make, apart from all the hoo-ha over the character. And again, I'll be stoned in the comments for this, but I didn't mind the reinvention of Dante. I thought it was
really
they did the right thing. They couldn't have just trod the same path. And I thought they tried to make it different. But again, unfortunately, they got caught between two posts where like the hardcore just wanted what they had 12 years ago, and everyone else didn't want what they had 12 years ago because things have moved on. And as much as you broke down what DMC was, it was delivering like an old school piece of gameplay that in the really under pressure AAA market probably doesn't deliver.
And finally, with Microsoft testing some smartwatch prototypes, which we're all excited about, I thought, like last week's, you know how well last week went down, right? With our brilliant film ideas. If you missed that, hit the link now to see last week's brilliant film ideas from me.
Won't stop laughing.
It's 5 minutes of gold.
Yeah.
I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to come up with some other prototypes for things around the house or the office?
Like a smart kettle?
Well, Leon, number one, I'll see how much you're investing in this idea. A portable hard drive, like a big one, not like a USB micro drive, which doubles as a lunchbox. Huh? For kids to take to school? Wait, where's your homework? It's on my portable hard drive. Don't worry though, I've also got my sandwiches.
So is the
it like
process
folds
with-
out, I'm thinking.
Yeah, so we're actually making things bigger now. We're kind of reverse engineering.
Some of the portable hard drives, like a big one, like a terabyte one, are quite big. You could probably get a sandwich in there.
So you'd have to have a cable connecting your lunchbox to your
Oh, that would
PC.
be that's an extra accessory.
Surely you just have a
an
lunchbox.
extra essential accessory.
Is that how you make the money?
On your
Like,
portable
people
USB.
buy the lunchbox, open, eat the sandwich. Oh, I've got the lead.
Exactly, yeah.
And then each year you bring out a new lunchbox, and the lead
It
changes
so you
slightly.
can't actually power your lunchbox. Yeah, that's a little good.
That's better than some of your ideas from last week.
Good.
So
Well, they only get
Most
better,
things
Dan.
are better than those ideas.
A pint glass, or just
That's a portable hard
a
drive?
big glass. No, I've seen this before. People have talked about it a lot. That have fish living inside the bit, so you have an extra bit of glass and a fish just live in it, and you just have a drink. And there's a fish. It's got what?
doesn't that exist?
I think it might exist.
This is a thing that exists.
Does it though?
I mean, if I was to
'Cause
go,
those fish are
if I
gonna
was to go to
die.
Dragon's Den, right, and I had two pictures in mind. One was the Microsoft watch that like syncs up with all your devices, does connect, all these different things, and the other was pint glass with a fish in it.
Yeah, Stan. What?
Well, I mean, maybe,
Are we talking?
maybe
Are
they
we
go pint
talking
glass with a fish?
like an enormous glass with a normal sized fish in, or a tiny fish in
I
a
think
normal
they'll
glass?
they'll be like mini tropical. Maybe they're tropical fish, and it's like a flask that keeps your tea warm. So at the same time as keeping the fish warm. What
happens if you forget one morning?
Alright.
You wake up and you go, "Oh, I just put it in the dishwasher, didn't I? I didn't let."
Well, that's your own fault.
I've got an idea. This is genuinely good, so no one go making this and
Brilliant.
making your fortune off
This is
me,
what I
right?
wanted from
It
this.
combines the best sort of all the ideas to date. It would be a pint glass, right, with like that sort of layer of liquid inside, so you can still have a drink out of it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a lava lamp, but the lava lamp is in fact a liquid LCD display, and you can plug in your pint glass, right, to an external device and it acts like a monitor. So it's like a portable pint glass liquid monitor.
Surely you could do it. You could do it wirelessly. So you have the placemats, and when you put the mug or the cup down, it could wirelessly power and broadcast information to the cup. So the cup then becomes a circular display. You pick up, take a drink, it just becomes a cup, and it's not strobing in your face.
But then you're looking at everything in like
a pint.
Yeah, but you'd have you have little figures running around it. You have your little digital fish. You have little computer-generated fish rather than a real one, thereby saving the fish.
It'd be the reinvention of those things in the olden days. You used to spin and look through a slit.
Yeah.
See it going.
Wow.
And if you could make it as well.
I'm not investing my vast fortunes into it.
Okay, but if someone else wanted to make that, they can't because you want to keep that just in case.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd obviously refine the idea, but essentially it's solid gold.
All right, I'm going to miss a few of these out because you don't seem to be totally on board with them. This was another suggestion from someone else in the office. You know how annoying it is in the morning when your alarm goes off?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow, that's really loud. What about one that just wakes you up gently? Or a fire alarm that gradually comes on.
There are several of those.
That exists
I have
already.
one, yes. That's
What,
like, you
really?
can get them on the App Store, there's loads.
I haven't lived. Right. Well, that's brilliant. What about, this is the final one and then we can go. Oh no, there's two more. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, Dan. There was two more levels of gold.
Yeah.
The next one is a device that you can use that, like the Control F on your keyboard where it finds things on the page, but you use it for you type in keys and it goes, oh, your keys are over there. Or if you're in a shopping mall and you haven't been there before and you go, oh, I really want some Wheatos. You just type in Wheatos and it goes, oh, aisle 7, and off you go. Like a GPS finder for things that you've lost.
Not your worst idea, James.
No.
Yes, no stealing that one.
Surely most of these problems could be, or these kind of ideas could be just addressed by having like a butler.
Well, yeah, of course, but no.
All right, we
but
agreed.
then,
We agreed then.
But then everyone has to have a butler with them all the time.
I'm
could
down.
go-
I'm down with that.
Dear finding device, take me to the novelty failed products aisle so I can buy a cheap LCD beer glass and
With a fish
and
in.
a USB lunchboxes, 50p.
Right, fine. This is crazy, but not
crazy,
so crazy. What about downloadable smells? So, say you're playing a game, right, and there was a device, the AmbiX device, that did lots of lights and stuff when you're playing games, and I think they were making one that did smells as well. Like in the cinema, you can get cinemas that do smells.
4D, they spray water in your face.
Yeah, and it does. You're in a pine forest, and you go, oh, pine.
Depends on the game you're playing. What if you're playing like Spec Ops after that bit where you napalm the valley full of families?
You just die.
And then this little thing just starts going squirting out like. How does someone even know what seared? Well, I know what seared flesh smells like, but what's the formulation?
Whoa, well, I don't. Well, that's a revelation, Leon. Of course you do.
I burnt my hand when I was younger. It smelled really bad.
I don't know if I want to be in this room for much.
Think about
longer
what you
with
do in most games. It's just going to be the whole time someone's going to be like sticking their head around the door going, does it smell of blood in here? Like, yeah,
Well, that's for the new generation of games when everything's changed. You'll be like, imagine walking through like GTA 5's city and going, oh, it smells a bit like hot dogs. There must be a hot dog stand around here. I'll go get some lunch. Huh?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
That's how you
people.
play GTA, is it?
Yeah.
You will when you've got the smell.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you end up playing like GTA going, I don't want to do anything that's going to smell bad. I'm just going to sit here and watch this dog walk. Oh, no, that's not going to work either.
Right, well, thanks, guys. That was for your constructive criticism of my ideas. That's about all we've got time for this week. Leon, do you want to give a shout out to your YouTube channel before we go?
Official PS Mag.
Dan, GTA 5 o'clock, you want to push that, I expect?
Yeah.
Or League of Next Gentlemen?
Just
any of the
all of
things.
the shows.
All of the above.
Yeah,
Keep
all of
watching.
the shows. If you want to see me with a moustache and or beard, watch the League of Next Gentlemen next Tuesday. It's all about the next gen.
Is people's viewing choices based on what you're going to be wearing.
Yeah.
Not for the show, just for the outfit.
Just generally that, yeah. Mostly
Brilliant.
lustrous beards.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.